South Korea opposition leader stabbed in Busan. Taiwan considers joining the ICC. Death toll in Japan earthquake hits 55. 567 Taiwanese stranded in Japan earthquake zone. Zelenskiy says Russia suffering heavy losses. Nobel laureate sentenced to jail in Bangladesh. Denmark's crowned first Australian-born queen. Google settles $5 billion lawsuit for private mode tracking.
Hello, I'm Wei Li. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Wednesday, January 3rd, and here are your top stories. South Korea's opposition party leader Lee Jae-myung has been hospitalized after being attacked during a visit to the southern port city of Busan, sustaining injuries that health officials said were not life-threatening. Mr. Lee, who narrowly lost the 2022 presidential election, sustained a 1-centimeter laceration on the left side of his neck, reports said. He was airlifted to hospital. Yonhap News agency reported the 66-year-old man who attacked him said he had intended to kill Mr. Lee, but the motive for the attack is unclear.
Photographs from the scene showed that the assailant appeared to be wearing a paper crown with Lee's name on it. He approached Lee asking for an autograph, then suddenly lunged forward and attacked him. The assailant was quickly subdued and arrested at the scene. Mr. Lee, 59, currently holds a seat in Incheon in South Korea's legislature. He is widely expected to run for a seat in the next general election, which will take place in April.
The government is considering joining the International Criminal Court, aiming to enhance deterrence against potential Chinese aggression. Proponents argue that this move not only seeks to bolster the global legal framework, but also strives to amplify Taiwan's international engagement, countering Beijing's effort to isolate the region. Taiwan joining the ICC would allow investigation and warrant against Chinese President Xi Jinping under international law if he orders or oversaw acts of war or war crimes against Taiwan on its territory.
Established by the Rome Statute in 2002, the International Criminal Court focuses on adjudicating 4 core international crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression. Proponents of this move assert that it could serve as a deterrent, dissuading Xi from pursuing his expressed intention to annex Taiwan. The island nation, a self-governed democracy, is characterized by a populace vehemently opposed to the prospect of Chinese subjugation.
At least 55 people were killed in the powerful earthquake that struck western Japan on Monday. The authorities said a day after the disaster, as they continued to comb through the rubble of collapsed and burned buildings. Officials warned people in some areas on Tuesday to stay away from their homes because of risk of more strong quakes. Aftershocks continued to shake Ishikawa Prefecture and nearby areas a day after a magnitude 7.6 tremor slammed the area on Monday afternoon.
About 33,000 homes in Ishikawa and neighboring Niigata Prefecture were without power on Tuesday morning, said Yoshimasa Hayashi, Chief Cabinet Secretary. Close to 20,000 homes across 4 prefectures lacked running water. He said officials continued to search for people buried under rubble after 120 such incidents were reported to local police or fire departments, raising the possibility of a higher death toll. Mr. Hayashi said that nuclear power plants in the affected prefectures continued to report no abnormalities.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported that 567 Taiwanese tourists are currently stuck in areas of Japan impacted by the earthquake. Taiwan's representative office in Osaka has contacted various travel agencies and received reports on the status of Taiwanese travelers. Cola Tour reported 5 groups with 147 people. Lion Travel reported 8 groups with 240 people. Richmond Tours reported 3 groups with 100 people. And Star Travel reported 2 groups with 60 people.
Altogether, there were 18 tour groups with a total of 547 people, who were all safe. The representative office in Osaka said it would provide necessary assistance to Taiwanese upon request at any time. In addition, There are more than 20 independent Taiwanese travelers who were scheduled to take a Tiger Air flight from Niigata Airport to return to Taiwan on Monday but found themselves stuck at the airport as it was closed after the earthquake.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy said Russian forces are suffering heavy losses, and the notion that Moscow is winning the nearly 2-year-old war is only a feeling, not based on reality. Thousands of killed Russian soldiers. Nobody even took them away, he told The Economist magazine in an interview published on Monday, referring to fighting around the besieged eastern town of Avdiivka, which he visited last week.
Mr. Zelensky also warned the world that the Russian president is coming for them next. Putin feels weakness like an animal because he is an animal. He senses blood, he senses his strength. And he will eat you for dinner with all your EU, NATO, freedom, and democracy, he said. It comes as Putin vowed to intensify its own strikes after a series of heavy Ukrainian bombardments on Russian border regions. Kyiv and Moscow exchanged heavy attacks over New Year's Eve and day.
A court in Bangladesh has sentenced the Nobel Laureate Muhammad Yunus to 6 months in jail for violating the country's labor laws. Prof. Yunus's supporters say the case is politically motivated. The acclaimed economist and 3 colleagues from Grameen Telecom, one of the firms he founded, were found guilty of failing to create a welfare fund for their workers. All 4 denied any wrongdoings and have been granted bail pending appeals.
Yunus, who pioneered the use of microcredit to help impoverished people, was present in court and was granted bail. The court gave Yunus 30 days to appeal the verdict and sentence. "We are being punished for a crime we did not commit. It was my fate, the nation's fate. We have accepted this verdict, but will appeal this verdict and continue fighting against this sentence," the 83-year-old economist told reporters after the verdict was announced.
As Denmark's Queen Margaret II abdicates the throne and makes way for the new monarch and her son, Crown Prince Frederik is set to take over the reins. The country will also be getting a new queen in Frederik's wife, Crown Princess Mary. According to the royal house, it's an exceedingly rare move in Denmark, where a monarch hasn't abdicated since 1146 when King Edric III gave up the crown to join the monastery.
For many of Mary's Australian admirers, it's a fitting finale to a romance that famously began in a rowdy Sydney pub around the time of the Olympics in 2000. While she is a commoner, Australian-born Mary has often been considered one of the most popular royals in the world and lauded for her style and elegance. Millions watched the couple get married in 2004. 2 decades later, their ascension to the throne is expected to captivate audiences worldwide.
Google has reached a settlement in a U.S. lawsuit that alleged privacy invasion, claiming the company tracked users even in private mode. The class action, seeking a minimum of $5 billion, targeted Google and its parent company, Alphabet. Major tech companies are under heightened scrutiny for their practice in the U.S. and globally. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed. However, lawyers are expected to present a formal settlement for the court's approval by February.
The class action, which was filed by law firm Boies Schiller Flexner in 2020, claimed that Google had tracked users' activity even when they set the Google Chrome browser to incognito mode and other browsers to private mode. It said that Google could not continue to engage in the covert and unauthorized data collection from virtually every American with a computer or phone. Google said it had been upfront about the data it collected when users viewed in private mode, even if many users assumed otherwise.
The answer for yesterday was C, initial. The initial reaction has been excellent. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Google settles $5 billion lawsuit for private mode tracking. Number 1, settlement, 协议. The management and union has reached a settlement over new working conditions. Number 2, minimum, 最小值, 最低限度. The class needs a minimum of 6 students to continue. Number 3, disclose, 透露,泄露. The report discloses that human error was to blame for the accident. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.